Definitely not. Are we joking? Oh, okay. Hey, besties. I haven't. Wow, I haven't gone live in so long. Let's see how long I can do this before it pisses me off to the point where I have to get off. Because the men are just they're feisty. They're feisty. So we'll see if any of them want to chat. How was everyone's Thanksgiving? I think mine was relatively good. So Edmund, what do you have to say?
What I really have to say is just why be better? It's 4K Trey, North Side.
Okay, right. Hello, what's
Yo,
your
I'm not gonna lie, you got
take?
a long ass face. You look like a man. I see them brolic ass shoulders.
Okay, is that
Look at
supposed
them
to?
big ass arms.
I mean,
You got some long ass hair though. I pull on that shit.
do you have anything to contribute, or are you just here to be stupid?
No, I'm here to poop my dick in your mouth. Bye.
You're weird. You're never gonna get laid. Trust. Interesting. Anyways, moving swiftly along from that, I'm trying to get this bracelet off, but I can't get it. I haven't been live in quite a while, so I don't expect a big turnout. 'Cause yeah, it's been like months since I've been live. Gosh, I really cannot get this off. This is frustrating. Yeah, people are weird, you know, the internet, man. I have met very interesting people on the internet. It's like all the incels in here today. Where's all the girlies? Also, if you're gonna sit in the comments and yap and you're not gonna come up here, I'm gonna mute you. So don't be a coward. Get up here. Have a little conversation with me. Promise. Okay, what's up? What's your take?
Um, my take is that there are many types of false allegations, and yes, they do often ruin lives. Um, for a young black man such as myself, there has been many times where I have gotten profiled, where shop owners and many people have called me out of my name and out of my character to put these false allegations on me, where police had to come down and question the situation. And this is part of the reason why I became a security guard, because to be a security guard, you cannot have a felony record or any charges against you. So every time I am pulled over, whether I'm driving, whether it be anything, I pull out that license and I'm like, here, like I've never committed or done anything in my life. Because for most people, and I have experienced this, and even on the news, we see it, the whole BLM movement, false allegations get people profiled, killed, locked up, put away, and in general. You understand? It doesn't only have
Yeah,
to
so
be like,
I'm not talking about false allegations of a crime that you or of I'm not, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about false allegations of sexual misconduct. We typically don't call someone like someone who gets pulled over and racially profiled or you know, worse in some cases, that's not referred to as a false allegation. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sexual violence in America and across the world. So
okay, so false allegations in this case is only referring to, sexual misconduct in this case.
yeah, that's what the prompt is about.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that, but thank you.
Hmm. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Um, Thanks, Zoe. But I'm waiting for more opposition to come in so that way we can get a debate because this is starting so slow. It takes forever to get opposition these. Oh, just kidding. There's some people in here. Hold on. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, what do you want?
Put on your burqa before I stone you to death. You
Is that all you
kafar.
got?
Yeah, embrace Islam.
Embrace Islam? No.
Yeah.
I don't do Abrahamic religions. Not into that.
What, are you pagan?
No, I'm nothing.
So you believe that we came from fish?
I don't care where we came from, and I don't care to find out. Don't really care. I don't have a beliefs system around it. I simply don't care. I simply choose to live my life based off of what I believe is the right and wrong way to do things, and I believe it's. I mean, it's also based off of like societal expectations and things like that. But yeah, why?
So what is your outlook on life then? What's your aim in life, would you say?
To have what I would consider a good life and to have fun and to travel and to maybe have a family. We'll see. We'll consider.
Okay. Would
Do you
you
have
sign a
something to say
prenup?
on the prompt or?
The prompt? No, I wouldn't say they're so they're quite prevalent. I'd say they
Well,
do ruin
according to
lives.
who?
According to me, according to the men that have been accused falsely and had their careers ruined.
Okay, so you think that false allegations are prevalent and that they ruin lives based off of how many people are we basing this off of?
What do you mean? What,
How
do you
many
want to
people? Do you
base
have a
it on like
statistic?
America,
Do you have a
or do you want to
stat? Do you have a
base it
statistic? Do
on
you have
like
anything to back that up?
um
No. So
no?
that's gonna be a no. So I maybe go on to your little religious debates. This might not be the debate for you. Bruh, you can unmute and we can talk now.
Hello.
What's up? What's your take regarding the topic?
Well, I don't know. I think we probably agree on everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up. Only request if you disagree. I didn't. I think that's self-explanatory, but I guess not. Okay, I'm going to accept more people now.
Here I come.
Aaron, what do you have to say about the topic? Oh, you have a horrible echo. You gotta come back at another point in time. Sorry, King. Okay. Oh, this guy actually has a question. Let's see. Let's see about that.
Yeah. So I do have an example. I want
Nigger.
Right. Don't. Okay. Perfect.
I do have an example, right? That I do want to run by you, and I actually want to get your opinion on this. Right? It's to do with the topic. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a football player in my country. Okay, named, I don't know if you've heard of this case, right? You heard the name Mason Greenwood.
I think I've heard of it here and there, but I don't know this like anything about him.
Okay, so basically Mason Greenwood, he's played for Man United, which is my team. This girl he was with at the time basically came out and released a video of like him, and it was just the audio, but it was basically him saying like, get your legs up, and then she's like, I don't want to have schmecks, and then he's like, I don't care, get your legs up, right? Like going on a mad one basically. And then she released the video, and obviously there was a court case. They got in trouble for like having contact during the court case, the whole thing got dropped, the whole case got dropped, and now they're together and they have a kid together. So who's like, you know what, who's at fault there? Because they're both really at fault. Why would you stay with him after going public with an allegation like that, and then you proceed to have a kid with him? If he was this big bad guy and he'd hurt you that bad, why would you do that?
So it sounds like to me she simply, I mean, people go back to their abusers all the time. That's a common phenomenon, that victims of all interpersonal and domestic abuse victims go through. It's very common, and there's a psychological explanation for it that I'm not well versed in explaining, but I'm sure you could do the research on your own time independently and come to that conclusion. But yeah, that's very common. Why do you think domestic violence exists in the first place, and why do you think it continues for as long as it does? It's because people either don't have the resources to leave, or they're, choosing to stay for whatever reason, which we already talked about is psychological in nature. So,
Yeah, but with this case, like this case, like what I'm talking about is like he was only 19 at the time. I'd say same with her. So it's not like she's under any like financial burden of like, for example, like a marriage, like a long-term marriage. Like she still has her whole life ahead of her and she can do whatever she wants. I do agree with you on like trauma, because you call it trauma, we call it trauma. Trauma ones are a thing, but if you go public with it, especially with like the status that he had, and you know he had the status, I don't get then staying with him and then having a kid with him. Like, do you not see that's wrong? Do you not think that's wrong? Or that was the wrong decision to make?
I think it's a nuanced conversation. I think that like her going back to this person was definitely the result of probably trauma, and also again the psychological reasons why people go back to their abusers. But then I would also say that um, I mean, there's like a more what's it called? There's a more nuanced conversation to be had about her having a child with him. I don't know everything about her life, so I can't make a judgment on why she had a child with him. I can't make a judgment as to if she had access to birth control, if she was trying to prevent it, if it was something that he forced on her again. I don't have that information, so I'm not going to make a judgment, but I would say it's nuanced.
Okay. Well, that's really all I had to say, but thank you, I guess.
Sure.
Okay. Have a good night, I guess.
You too. Okay, moving on. Let's see. Yeah, TikTok's like acting weird today. Okay, moving on. The topic is false allegations are rare and don't often ruin lives. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. We're talking about false allegations of sexual misconduct. Stain, what's your take?
Hey, just before we get started though, I just want to say why'd you have to let the same guy back up here for like 5 minutes? I really had to like sit through that.
I don't know.
Also, if you didn't catch it, his name was also anti-Semitic. I don't know if you caught that. I'm also anti-Semitic, but I just wanted to mention that. But anyways, so I agree with your first part, right? False allegations are rare. They really only take up 2 to 10% of like all rape cases. But my problem with your second statement is they absolutely can ruin lives based on how big it gets in terms of the media and public eye. You know, once you get painted as a rapist, even if the case gets dropped or something like that happens, regardless of whether in fact they're innocent or not, it can still completely ruin somebody's public image. Absolutely, the way you view somebody, it can absolutely be changed.
Yeah, so the prompt is that they don't often ruin lives. I'm not saying that they never ruin lives. I'm saying that more often than not, they have no effect on the person's life. Even real rapists and sexual predators, they don't oftentimes have their allegations affect their life. And so I would say that since we're seeing real predators not have their lives ruined, they're doing more than okay with, not only like getting away with the crime that they committed, but also, their life afterwards. I would say that the same would apply to people who are quote unquote being falsely accused. Whether they are or not, we'll never truly know. But what I do know is that whenever a man is accused of sexual misconduct, he is almost never facing any sort of repercussions. And his social reputation, like you say, a lot of the times abusers, they don't lose family members, they don't lose close friends. They might lose a couple of acquaintances, perhaps a friend here and there, but like you can make new friends. And so for those individuals, I would simply say like, yeah, that sucks that you went through that. You lost friends. Sorry about it. That's life. But your life was not ruined. It was not irreparably damaged. Going to jail on a false allegation, absolutely, I would agree, ruins your life. Losing a couple friends and having them look at you sideways from now on, no, that's not life ruining. And we need to be honest with ourselves. It's not.
So right now you're kind of speaking with like a lot of feelings. There's not really a lot of statistics.
Nope,
You're kind
there's
of just
no
saying,
feelings behind what I'm saying.
well, do you have any proof? Do you have
It's
any hard
statistically
proof?
accurate.
But based on what statistics?
Yeah, based off of the Department of
The
Justice.
national or the department?
The Department of Justice.
Department
So
of
the
Justice.
DOJ, and then also the National Center for Sexual Violence, and then
What
also
does the statistic read? What does it read?
yeah. So first of all, only about 2 to like 3% of rapists and sexual predators actually go to jail for the crimes that they've committed. So that would be a statistic proving that. And again, we agreed that if you go to jail, your life is obviously ruined if it's whether it's a real allegation or not, your life is going to be ruined right at that point. So yeah, I would agree with you there. But since only 2 to 3% of them are going to jail, I would say that most of them aren't having damaging social repercussions afterwards. They're not being fired from their jobs. They're not losing out on positions. They're not losing out on friendships or family members. We hear it all the time how survivors will come out and talk about how they accused their family member of doing something to them inappropriately, and what happened? Nothing. The family just kept it under wraps, kept it hush hush, and didn't do anything about it. This is something that we hear women and children and men who have been the victim of this talk about quite frequently. And so I would say that we can take into account all of their testimonies about the things that they've gone through. And if you've listened to even just 1 or 2 sexual assault survivors, I would say that you would know that that is the reality, that abusers don't go to jail and they don't have repercussions within the family. They don't have repercussions within their workplace the majority of the time. So outside of really your family disowning you, you going to jail, or you losing your job, what is life ruining about your reputation being altered?
Well, I think we're talking about two different things here. I'm more focused on the fact of somebody, the actual false allegations, not the rapists themselves.
No, I'm focused on all of it.
Okay, well,
Because
the
again, we'll
prompt
never
isn't really
know. We
discussing
will.
that.
So again, the people who are falsely accused, we'll never know. We will never know if they genuinely were or not. They can say that they were. We'll never know. So regardless, again, if the majority of rapists are not going to jail, why would it be any different for people who have quite literally not an ounce of evidence proving that they were the predator of said alleged crime? Like, if you can't even provide an ounce of evidence that somebody did something to you, because there is no evidence because it never happened, right? How are you going to say that that person has a high likelihood of facing all of these scary repercussions that men like to talk about, but that never happen.
So you're saying that we shouldn't care at all because we have no proof. So might as well just believe what people, believe my word against yours.
I believe in believing a victim until you're given a valid reason not to.
Well,
And
the
that
law
valid reason is not
states
just, oh,
the
well, I
law
like my
states
friend
you're
more than
innocent
you.
until
So
proven guilty.
I
That's
don't
not
care. I'm
how the
not a
law
lawyer,
works.
I'm not a judge, and I'm not a juror.
Well, that doesn't matter
Are we
then.
in court right now? No, this is public
No.
opinion. We're talking about public opinion right now. And again, we've already clarified.
Right, but we're talking about jail time. We're talking about rapists.
Stain,
So if we're
Stain,
talking about
Stain,
what?
Stain.
Okay, go
We've
ahead.
already clarified that we're not talking about the people who go to jail. I've already agreed with you that if you do go to jail, yeah, of course, that sucks. And I would say your life is ruined, or that portion of your life has been ruined, right? I would agree with you. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about public opinion, reputations, people losing their jobs, which never happens. And that's what we're talking about right now. So I want you to prove to me how, if you are accused of sexual assault and you don't go to jail, how your life is ruined.
Well, I mean, I think there's more things to your life being ruined than losing your career, losing your job. I
Like
think
what?
a lot of people's life is very family oriented, very relationship oriented. So if you're losing all your relationships, you're losing your family, that can be 100% life ruining.
So again, I mean, how often do you think that sexual predators lose access to their families and lose access to their friendships? How often, in
I
your
couldn't tell
opinion?
you. I don't know a statistic. I couldn't tell you. I don't want to speak in what I think I believe, because I don't know.
Okay, so I would tell you that, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that the majority of people who are accused of sexual assault are defended by their family members, they are defended by their friends, and they are defended by even their acquaintances. People will say, "Oh, I know him, he's a good guy, he wouldn't do that." People like that's
But
so incredibly
where is the
common.
proof? Where is the statistics? You can say this is common. You can say, "Oh, this is what everybody does," but you can't prove that.
I mean, I've listened to thousands of people
You've
talk about their
listened, but I could say, "Oh,
stories.
I've listened to the other half," and this is what they say. You don't have any proof. It's just my word against
I
yours.
mean,
We're not
so
getting
so what do
anywhere
you want me
here.
to provide? What would be proof for you?
Well, clearly, if you're gonna debate somebody and you're gonna get a prompt, you should probably have some
I
statistics
mean,
ready. You know
I
what I
know
mean?
more about this topic than you, and I've looked into this
I'm
topic
sure you
way
do. I
more
mean,
than
you're
you have.
debating, and I'm
I've
I'm sure you
talked
do.
to more people who have been through this than you could ever fathom, and
No,
I'm
no,
telling you right
I've talked
now,
to more. I've talked to more
no,
actually. No,
you
I have.
haven't.
No, well, how do
You
you
really
know?
haven't.
How do you know I haven't?
Because I don't. Because I know. I just
You
know.
know you don't. No, you don't. You don't know that.
I do.
I've talked to
I
thousands of
do.
people.
I do. And I also, I mean, I just have my own life experience, and I know that they're often propped up by other men. They are often, like men will defend men,
Well,
and
women will
they will do
defend
it to the
women.
day that they die. And they will defend these rapists and predators. How do you think how do you think Jeffrey Epstein continued to do what he did for so long? How do you figure? What do you think about that?
Because a bunch of rich politicians supported him, including
It's
women,
because people didn't give a fuck. It's
including
because
women, including women, by the way,
it's
including
because
women,
people didn't give a fuck. It's
including women.
because correct. There were a couple of women involved. Correct.
Exactly.
It's because and I said people, right? I didn't say men. It's because people didn't give a fuck. Specifically, a lot of rich men didn't give a fuck. You want to know who else doesn't give a fuck? A lot of families who are protecting their rapist fucking pedophile uncle and saying, well, he's family though. He's family though. So you just gotta get over it. Right? So so men defending men is what's causing this problem.
But
And
it was
the fact that
women
you
on the
can't
island
see it,
too.
like
But it was it
I
not
can tell
women?
you can't see it. And like the fact that I'm
But it
trying to
wasn't women though,
explain
right?
this to you right now. I'm trying to explain this to you right now, Stain, and you quite literally are not wanting to listen to me. All I'm doing is trying to explain
I
something
feel
to
like
you.
you've done most of the talk. I feel like I've done most of the listening.
Yeah, and
Realistically.
but you're
Have
not
I not?
listening because you're just questioning everything that I'm telling you, and I'm telling you that I have heard countless women and men. I've also had men come up here and tell me that they were falsely accused, and I asked them how their false allegation affected their life. I have not found more than 5 men who could, I would say their life was ruined, and they agreed. There were only about 5 men who I've met off of the 3 years that I've been doing this that have said, like, that have told me things that I'm like, yeah, bro, you got the short end of the stick.
So
If
you
like you
think
really
that?
didn't do this, that sucks. Yeah, I would say that your life is ruined.
Wait,
The
so
rest of
I have a
them,
question. I
the
have a
rest
question.
of them have either thought that their life was ruined because in high school someone accused them and they lost a couple high school friends. Oh no, my life is ruined. I'm such a, oh, woe is me. Like, come on, fuck off. And then a couple of those people, right? And then we had a couple people, actually a lot of people say, no, the allegation didn't really affect my life all that much. So, like, what do you want me to provide for you? Because I'm providing you not only the testimonies of women, but the testimonies of people who have claimed that they were also falsely accused.
Well, I mean, actually, you haven't provided any testimonies. You've just said what
Okay,
you.
so
That's
then
not
do
what
you
a
want me to like
testimony is.
provide my own where the person who
Well, can I
sexually
ask you a
abused
question? Can I ask you a
No.
question?
Hold on one second. You can after. Do you want me to like provide my own where the person who like abused me quite literally messaged me and he tried to he was trying to hurt my feelings and so he messaged me and told me like that he told all of his friends, you know, what happened, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. You can't trust him. But he told me that he told his friends, you know, the truth of what happened and they just thought it wasn't that big of a deal and they just thought that I was overreacting, which yeah, I believe that his friends would say that. So I do believe he actually talked to his friends about it. So is my like life experience enough? Is the women in the comment sections life experience enough? Is the men who might be in here who were falsely accused, is their life experience enough for you or is it not enough? And you're just going to continue to fight with me over this? Like
Well,
what, how many people would I have to provide to you to like genuinely give you like enough?
okay. Can I talk real quick?
Sure.
Okay. How many people would you have to provide? I don't know. You would have to provide something that isn't just, oh, I've been doing this for forever so long, and there's been
Okay,
so
I
many
provided
people.
my own
Okay, but
this
my
month.
question is, how many men's lives who are actually ruined do you think are sitting on TikTok live, joining lives, and are not rotting in prison right now or killed themselves?
So again,
I mean, the people who
so if it were
clearly.
so common, for men to be locked up, for men to be falsely accused and locked up in prison, then why are again 95+% of rapists walking free right now?
You could say that for really all criminals. Most criminals aren't
No, you
caught.
can't. No, you
Only
can't
one
because
percent. Only 1% of cybercrime is actually
sexual
caught.
violence. So again, I'm going to give you the statistics. You asked for them earlier. You can go look this up, actually. The Department of Justice talks about how the sexual violence is the #1 under-prosecuted violent crime in America. So that's #1. It's under-prosecuted, right? Being under-prosecuted, of course, that means that it's going, like, we're not going to be locking up as many people as we should be. Also, whenever you compare it to, like, whenever you compare the amount of reports compared to, like, the actual, like, amount of that crime that happened in the year, again, sexual assault is on the highest end of the scale of being underreported. And then also, whenever it comes to sexual assault and like convictions, also very, very high on the scale of not like the conviction being very hard to secure. So the Department of Justice statistics are on my side. So like, what are you gonna do? Just say, oh, I don't believe that and like move on, or?
We're talking about false allegations. We're not talking about people being prosecuted for rape. Do I think that we should prosecute more people for rape? Do I think we should have a better justice system? Of course. Do you think I want to let people run free for raping other people? Of course not. But I mean, we can't just believe, whoever. We can't just, let false allegations be false allegations, right? I mean, we can't let that happen. Do you think, I mean, obviously I don't want to let rapists run free. Is
Okay,
that
so
what you
then
think
what's
I'm
your
trying to say?
proposed solution?
My proposed solution is unless we don't have proof, there's nothing we can do. I mean, why would
Okay,
you
so
throw?
then rapists will continue to run free because how are you going to get proof?
Unfortunately, when we live in an
How are you going
imperfect
to
world,
get
that's
proof?
that's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, this is going to blow your mind, but first person testimony is evidence in a court of law. That's going to blow your mind, I know. But also, how are we going to
Wait,
get
so I thought we weren't
proof?
talking about courts of law. Because you
I
said you
mean,
don't care if this person's innocent.
right now, whenever we're talking about the legal system, yeah, we are. So we're
But
talking about the
we
legal
were
system right
talking about
now.
the legal
I asked you
system.
about the legal system, and now you're telling me this is your proposed solution that we can't believe you unless you have proof. So how do you think that we should go about um, helping out all of the women who have been sexually assaulted by somebody and they never got proof? How do you think we should do that?
I
How do you
would
think that those people should provide proof? Should we just say, well, although it's like very likely that you did this because 20 other women have accused you of doing the same thing, but none of them had evidence because for whatever reason, you're just so good at what you do. Like, what should we do? Be like, yeah, he just gets to get off. Even though we know damn well there's a record of him doing this to multiple women, even though we know damn well that his credibility is shit and that he's a liar, which
wait.
you can prove in court somebody's
Okay.
credibility.
Oh, well, of
So, like,
course.
what
I
should
mean,
we do?
if there's 20
Your
20
proposed
women,
solution is we just let him run free and continue doing
well,
it.
that's not what I said. But if
It is.
so you're saying, of course, a judge would convict someone if 20 different women said that he's done this, and he's been in court before for this. I'm pretty sure that's probable cause to throw somebody in prison. And also, I would love to live in a perfect world where
I'm not gonna.
nobody rapes everybody, nobody murders anybody. But unfortunately, people are going to run free. Criminals are going to be free, and that's just the way the world works.
Yeah, no, it's not just the way the world works. There's things that we can do to change that. We should not have
It's not
it.
possible
The
for it to
United
fully
States,
be.
United States should be well past the point. We should be so far advanced that we are locking up the majority of people who are sexually abusing other people. But since men, again, men want to cover for men. Men want to defend men. Men don't want other, men going to jail. They see themselves in these young sexual predators. They see it as just a mistake, a one-time mistake. Oh, it was just a couple of minutes.
Based on what statistic?
Yeah, based off of all of the judges who have like overturned
What judges?
rulings.
Name one judge.
Yeah, so I will. Give me just a second. I'm not done talking. The thing about interrupting is you'll never get to the point if you don't let me finish. So the thing is that there have been so many judges who have allowed for rapists who either admitted it or there was so much evidence to where it is overwhelming that this person did what they were accused of doing. Just walk free. They put them on probation. And they let them walk free, or they give them a slap on the wrist, a little, less than a year jail sentence. Like, come on, bro. Like, you've heard of this happening. This happened to Brock Turner, very infamous rapist who was found by two individuals sexually assaulting a woman who was unconscious to the point where whenever the paramedics arrived on scene, they literally were taking her by the shoulders and shaking her as hard as they could and yelling into her, like screaming at her for her to wake up. She didn't wake up till hours later at the hospital. She was clearly unconscious. She clearly could not consent. There were two witnesses. What did the judge do? A 6-month fucking sentence, bro. Because the judge talked about how it was just a mistake. It was a one-time mistake, and he's just a poor little boy who made a one-time mistake, right? And this like happens all the time. This isn't just like a one-off. This happens all the time. This happened with another woman. I can't remember her name, but I do remember the rapist's name. His name was Drew Clinton. The judge in that case, who was part of his sentencing, he sentenced him, went back on the decision and overturned the conviction because according to the judge, the parents of this person should have been held responsible. Do you want to know why? Because they shouldn't have allowed underage drinking going on in their home. So instead of holding accountable the rapist, who, mind you, was 18 years old, okay, you're an adult. You should know by then it's not okay to rape somebody. This 18-year-old man got away with what he was doing. His conviction was overturned because the judge thought, well, since, him and the girl who were involved in this were drinking underage, it's the parents' fault. Like, be fucking for real. And again, that's not the only case that I have, but are those two examples enough for you? Or do you need more? Like,
So I think we're kind of getting off topic here. Are we talking about like false allegations or like what are we talking about right
So
now?
we're talking about how not only does your system not work, we're talking
What is
about
my
how
system?
even if your system was like accurate,
So what do you mean my
even
system?
if someone provides evidence, again,
But what do you
Brock
mean my
Turner
system? What are you talking
provided
about?
evidence. You want to know what? The male judge, a man defended Brock Turner, probably saw himself in Brock Turner and thought, I've raped a couple of girls. Let me let this kid off. Like, honestly, these judges are allowing these men who have been found guilty, and there's ample evidence, to get off with almost no repercussions. So that's also a problem. A problem that is not being factored into your hypothetical justice system.
What do you mean by my system? What are you saying by that? What
Yeah, the
system?
system that you propose where we should only believe somebody if they have evidence, and we should only lock somebody up if they have evidence.
So without evidence, how many people do you think would be locked up?
In my world, the way that it would
In
work
your world
is,
or in the world we live in?
yeah, in the perfect world, here's how it should be. In the perfect world, every single accusation gets investigated by a I would like to say a specially assigned unit to like sexual violence, and maybe domestic violence as well. Not by just the regular police because they love to not do their jobs. So preferably it would be every single accusation that is brought to the police would be investigated by this unit of people who are trained in sexual and domestic violence. And then after that, if there is, any sort of evidence, any sort of
Evidence. See,
circumstantial evidence,
evidence. If there's any sort of
can you
evidence.
stop? No, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming, right? It doesn't have to be overwhelming because in
Did I
today's
say
world,
overwhelming or did I say evidence?
shut up you have to let me finish. Like, damn, I know you struggle with it in the bedroom, but can you, like, not do it here either? Come on, like, just chill for half a second. Anyways, so
Wait, but now
in
you're being
today's
completely
world, I don't care. Cry about it. Go cry to your mommy. In today's world, you have to have a shit ton of evidence for a prosecutor to even pick up your case and decide that they're gonna try to take this person to trial. You have to have a fuck ton of evidence. So in my world, you don't have to have a fuck ton of evidence for a prosecutor to bring your case to trial. If an investigator in my hypothetical world determines that it is probable that what you're telling them happened, I think that at that point it should be like a prosecutor should have to take that to court and should have to have a trial, because a lot of like why there's no trials for these predators is because prosecutors get to pick and choose who they actually take to trial, and I think that's wrong. So at that point, if it gets forwarded to the prosecutor's desk, he or she would then be forced to take that to trial. And then at that point, if there's not like physical evidence, I think circumstantial evidence could also work. But, first person testimony is also something that is admissible in court. So at that point, if there was no like physical evidence, then I think either circumstantial or a test of somebody's credibility could be the best way to determine it. So if you're determined to be a liar, or if you're determined to be uncredible, then you're, compared to the other party, you're gonna lose. So yeah, and it's hard to keep a lie up. It's hard to keep a lie up for that long. So whether the woman or the man is lying, like it's going to be really difficult for that person to continue that lie for that long. There's going to be holes, there's going to be like, problems in their story, and so it would come down to a test of credibility if there was no physical evidence. So how do you feel about that?
I feel pretty great actually. I do like that. I think we should have our own department for investigating sexual violence. I honestly think that would be a great idea. But of course, these people would specialize in this sort of field, obviously, and they would be good at finding evidence, right? So once again, you do need evidence in order to prosecute somebody, right? And also, that was a really weird quote or a little thing you said there about me struggling in the bedroom, because you actually never asked me my age, and I am underage, so that was a very inappropriate
Okay, so then I'm
comment.
just gonna go ahead and remove you for violating TikTok terms of service and guidelines. You have to be 18 plus to go live. So unfortunately, that's on you. So don't break the TOS. And yeah. Anyways, moving on. I don't debate with minors or people that I know are minors. So, anyways, let's see what this person has to say.
Whoa, don't say it like that. Dang, I'm on your side here.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I'm gonna drop you down because I'm assuming that okay. Sorry, I'm trying to find a different person to talk with now. You know what's so crazy? Actually, I have seen false accusations before. And you know what's so interesting? The false accusations that I have seen have come from men. I have never seen a woman come on this app and make a false sexual misconduct allegation against a man. Never seen that. But you know what I have seen? I've seen men make countless false accusations of sexual misconduct against women, feminist creators, creators who they've never met before. And guess what? First of all, those women doesn't affect them. Second of all, men are the ones who are making false accusations. They literally make false accusations to prove the point that false accusations are prevalent and life-ruining and oh so bad. So, come on. I think men are just liars. I think we shouldn't believe men. Anytime a man says that they've been falsely accused, can't believe him, right? You gotta prove it to me. You really do. You need to prove it to me, and you need to bring me evidence, and you need to get a confession from the person who accused you. You need to jump through all the hoops that you expect victims to jump through. You have to jump through every single one as well. Because if that's how you want to treat victims, you need to also be treating, quote unquote, people who were falsely accused. You need to expect the same out of them. So, damn, I'm trying to let people up, but it's not letting any of them up. Okay, Swoops, what's up? What's your opinion?
How you doing?
Good.
So in terms of the false accusations are rare, I agree with that. I actually did study a bit on the statistics on this stuff, and more often than not, there's a certain statistic that a lot of people who discuss these kinds of topics hold on to, and it's like, I can't remember, but I believe it's in the 30s. Like there's a 30% non charged, basically there's 30% of cases that go to court don't end up leading to charges. That 30% is based on not having enough evidence. They don't actually prove that they were false claims. It's just that there wasn't enough evidence. So that makes false claims even more rare. So I do agree. But saying that they don't often ruin lives is, I think, a major understatement. I think every false claim will ruin a person's life. Maybe not so much outwardly, but internally, like the psychological effects that it can have on a human being, I don't think should be disregarded. Like, you got to understand, if somebody was let's say under the assumption that it was a false claim and it was proven and the guy was innocent or the girl was innocent, whatever. If these things led to court, and let's say they went out there on the media or whatever, and then everybody, best case scenario, because they were disproved, forgot about it, that individual now walking on to the rest of their life is going to have a sense of distrust towards anybody in those kinds of encounters. So I feel like as much as it might not ruin your ability to get a job or your ability to like be judged by other people, internally there's a lot more psychological effect that people really let off.
I mean, yeah, there could be psychological internal effects, but I don't think that most people are experiencing those, and I don't think that I don't think that there's a way to quantify that as like life ruining.
That's but that's first of all insensitive, and that's speculation. You can't.
I mean, I fear that men oftentimes will get accused, and yeah, they might have a couple of months, maybe a couple of years of mental issues as the result. But no, I don't think the majority of men are having lifelong mental health issues as the result of a false accusation that happened back in like high school, college, etc.
So here's actually a good example. Like I'm in my mid-20s, I'm 25, but a lot of my friends are older than me. And there's this one guy, I'm not going to name names, but there's this one guy that I'm really good friends with. And there was a story, like him and I had been friends for a while, but there was a story one time where he was falsely accused. There was a whole police report made and everything, and there was a plethora of witnesses that said what the woman had described to have happened. Sorry, one second, let me put my seatbelt on. There was a plethora of witnesses that said it didn't happen, and it didn't even reach court because there was nothing to have said there. Like the woman had specifically came out and had to make a public apology because she had went through like internet and stuff. It was kind of a trending thing in our area, and she herself admitted
How
to
are
it.
there witnesses to this?
So there was the background story of it was there was a party, and the guy in question here had a girlfriend at the time, and she was there, whatever. I think she had a boyfriend or she had a guy she was talking to. Everybody, gets, I don't know what I'm safe to say on here, but like they drink a lot. So everybody was pretty not in the right headspace. And he was sitting in the living room, going outside to the porch once in a while just to indulge in other stuff and in the balcony or whatever. But then she had described that he had left with her to go to like a room, and you can make up the rest of it. But what ended up happening was he never left anywhere that was out of public eye. He actually just went home, and he had a girlfriend, as I said at the time. So the whole timeline of the story, when it was broken down between police and lawyers and everything, just did not add up in the way that she was talking about it. And she was trying to hide the fact, and the witnesses had mainly mentioned that there was a few times where she had approached him and tried to put herself onto him and, etc. And he was like, no, like, get off me. And this was like not necessarily in the most public scene, but where there was a few people. Like one time it happened in the balcony, like she was getting really friendly with him. And he was like, I have a girlfriend. Like, I don't know what you're doing. Like, chill out. And a lot of people had seen him check her, like telling her like to relax. And then because of the embarrassment of the whole situation, she had decided to go on and, make up whatever she made up. But this was all... Sorry, go ahead.
So what's the anguish here?
The anguish here is now the guy, as I said, he's in his 30s now. And about 2 or 3 years ago, he got engaged. I think he just reached 30 at the time. He got engaged. And he was out with his fiance and whatnot. And this is I'm going to like refrain from saying certain things, but it was his birthday just after the engagement. It was his birthday, and him and his fiance were out. And one thing led to another. They were out for dinner. One thing led to another. They didn't end up making it home. They ended up pulling into a parking lot, and things started happening. Okay, that parking lot was a private parking space. Like, it was a private parking lot, and somebody had called the cops, and cops had showed up. Now, mind you, this is this man's fiance. Like, this is a man. Him and her have a very, very good relationship. But for the moments that he was in, like the cop was asking questions and everything because he had essentially saw everything. The guy was completely distraught because he was like, this is another moment where I'm vulnerable, where I feel like somebody could say something or fabricate something against me. And this is his own fiance. So
Him and his fiance or committing a crime, that is a crime. You can't have sex in public. Like, I don't care if it's a public parking lot or not. And, you know, whether or not everyone does it, I mean, a lot of people smoke weed, a lot of people underage drink, a lot of people do a lot of illegal things. It's whether or not you get caught. You got to be smart about it. If you're going to do illegal shit, you can't get caught. So him and his fiance got caught, and the cops questioning him made him nervous. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. It should
No,
make you nervous. You got caught. Like, how does this prove that he has mental anguish for the rest of his life? Like,
no, you're not getting the point. He wasn't distraught because he was caught doing something he shouldn't be doing. I mean, we can't argue the point that is illegal.
I mean, it's his fault. Like, he shouldn't have. Here's the thing, that's his fault. He shouldn't have been fucking someone in the backseat of his car whenever he knew that. Like, that's quite literally just his fault. Like, there's no other way to put it. That is his fault.
I don't think you're understanding the point.
He put himself in that position to be questioned by police for having sex with his fiance in the car.
That's not what you're not getting the point.
So then what's the point?
We're not arguing about whether or not he did something wrong. That is illegal, point blank, period. We agree on that.
Correct, but you're talking as if, like, the woman who falsely accused him back in however long ago this happened, you're acting as if she is somehow causing this man to freak out over, you know, the police or be scared that someone might make something up against him whenever he was doing something illegal in the first place. It's not like he was caught, like it's not like he was just sitting in his car and they weren't having sex and the police come up to him and like someone makes a false accusation. That's not what happened.
Okay. Can you let me finish my point?
Sure.
Okay. As I said, the discomfort of doing something illegal is not up for debate here. He did something wrong. That is not my point. But if you understand anything about the way that cops ask these kinds of questions and investigate, they actually drag the two individuals apart. They cannot have them in the same place. Otherwise, there's going to be some sort of influence on the answers. He was pulled out of the car and asked, you know, what was going on. And obviously they had to make sure that everything was consensual. It didn't lead to a ticket or anything, but they had to make sure everything was consensual. And in those moments that he was alone, he's like, I could be framed right now for something that slightly resembled what had happened in the past. That is that woman's fault. That those false accusations are on her behalf.
So he had a momentary blip of anxiety that
and you think
his
that's
fiance
nothing.
Would falsely accuse him of something, and he had a momentary blip of anxiety, and that's life ruining?
Yeah, you just sound insensitive. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I guarantee you, if I had painted this same narrative but on the woman's perspective, you'd be groveling for her.
That's because being raped is quite literally not only physically traumatizing but incredibly mentally traumatizing. That's provable. Someone telling a lie about you is not physically traumatizing. That's one. There's no physical element to the crime. Not a single, there's just not. And then also, being raped is going to have a bigger mental effect on you than someone telling a lie about you. Yeah. There's not a comparison.
There's no comparison. That's not what.
There's not a comparison. I would rather be accused falsely accused 100 times over than sexually assaulted. I would.
Obviously,
obviously, yet
you're grabbing at the most.
You just made a comparison as if they're comparable. You
said,
well, if it was from the woman's perspective, yeah, because being raped is 10 times fucking. Actually, no. 1,000,000 times fucking worse than being lied about.
When did I say compare it to a woman?
You did compare it because you said, well, think about it from the woman's perspective. Like, yeah, what your friend went through, not life ruining. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Are you dead ass?
Are you that dense that you think that that's what I'm trying to say?
I thought, okay, I'm just going to go ahead. I thought men were supposed to be big, bad protectors who were just so, strong and so mentally strong and stable and, I'm so tough. Like, oh yeah, I'm a fucking primal being. Like, I'm a primal being. I'm so strong. I'm so tough. Like, I thought men were the ones. But you're telling me that a little fucking bit of anxiety, whilst doing something illegal, mind you, made you think that your friend, his life, that was life ruining? And then you tried to compare that to being raped? Right. It's not adding up. And yeah, I'm gonna be insensitive because that's not something that I care to be sensitive towards. I don't even know if your friend is, I don't even know if you're telling the truth. I don't know if your friend is telling the truth. I don't know if any of these fuck-ass witnesses are telling the truth. I don't know. Sounds like there's a possibility that you don't know the full story. There's a possibility that your friends don't know the full story. So the fact that like you think that you know for a fact that your friend was also like, what man is fucking his fiance, having consensual sex with his fiance, and thinking to themselves, shit, I hope she doesn't say something to the cops? What man is thinking that but a rapist? You know who would be thinking that? You know who would be scared? A rapist. A rapist would. You know who wouldn't be scared? Someone having consensual sex. That wouldn't even cross their mind. Wouldn't even cross the ether. I'm just saying. Sounds suspicious to me. Anyways, we're moving on to the next person. Sounds really sus. That's all I have to say. It's really suspicious. Come on, like, let's be honest with ourselves. Trying to add people, but it's not adding them up. I don't know if they're leaving the queue or not, but it's weird. Bro, a little bit of anxiety and his fucking life is ruined. Are we fucking genuinely serious? Are we dead ass? Oh, but like, oh, I'm so scared that my girlfriend's gonna say something. Well, she didn't. She clearly didn't. Like, okay? Shit, like, I'd be more scared that I was gonna be arrested for indecent exposure, but go off, I guess. Like, God, men are so fragile. Bro, you would never survive as a woman. Never. Men would never survive as a woman. Also, Riker, no, I've not made a false allegation, and no, I'm not defending false allegations. I'm speaking the truth, and the truth is that false allegations are rare, and they often don't ruin lives. That is the truth. If the truth makes you mad, I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, moving on. Which one of you wants to go first?
Steeler can go first.
Okay, wonderful. Generally speaking, what makes you think false allegations wouldn't ruin lives?
Yeah, so we can look to men in the past who have sexually assaulted women and gotten away with it. Let's pick some. Donald Trump. We have Jeffrey Epstein. He kind of got away with it. He got away with it for quite a long time. So I would say, yeah. Who else? Just all of the men who were involved in the Jeffrey Epstein situation who allowed for it to go on for years and years and years. Brock Turner. Just quite a few men. Drew Clinton. Quite a few men have gotten away with sexually assaulting women, and nothing is ever done about it. No one cares, and there are no repercussions, and their life isn't ruined. So
Those are rich white men.
Isn't that going to be a typical generalization of a margin of people to put a supposed claim on them? To say, well, this thing is not going to affect this certain group of people because they've shown to get away with it in the past. Regardless,
yes.
I think it's arbitrary to say that Epstein got away with it too. People are still cracking down and it's still being actively uncovered.
Yeah,
or
only
are
because
victims speaking out?
And do you know how many other Jeffrey Epsteins are in the world right now who are their asses are being covered for?
Couldn't it be the same thing for women?
Which way? What do you mean?
Why
Well,
couldn't
how
women
many
be
women
being
that
covered
false accuse
for?
are in prison for false accusations?
Hold on, Ali. I'm talking to Steeler. Say that again.
Well, I was gonna say, why can't women be protected from their own perverted actions? Like, they could be protected by a system of certain laws to abide by a woman agenda. No, I'm not saying that could be in actuality a thing.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm
Like,
saying,
genuinely, what the hell are you trying to say
why
right now?
why can't it be the other way around, that women could also be being covered for their perverted actions? Like, let's say a woman or
Yeah,
a
because
babysitter.
98% of rapists are men. I hate to break it to you. Your species is horrible. I hate to break that to you. I believe it's like 90% of violent offenders are men. It's not women. So that's why. And men cover for men. Men are the majority of lawyers in this country. Men are the majority of judges in this country. So yeah, even if, you do get convicted, we were talking about this earlier, even if you do get convicted, there's a chance that you'll have a judge, like Brock Turner had, who gave him a slap on the wrist of 6 months of a sentence, and he only ended up serving 3. So yeah, even if you get convicted, there's still a chance that you're going to have a horrible, judge, cover for your ass as well.
Again,
So also, like, why is it that whenever we talk about like men protecting perverted rapists, pedophiles, men just shit their pants and are like, what about women? What about women?
I mean, I agree
Like,
to your
bro,
point, that exists. I don't know
you
why you're
all do
mooting
that
off of that
though.
fact.
You all do that. What about women?
More
Well,
generalization.
women aren't the ones who are 98% of rapists. So let's talk about the men. Let's talk about the male rapists. Can we do that? Or are you going to deflect to women again at some point?
Yeah, can you give me a susceptible source that says 98% of men are rapists?
Susceptible? Is that what you just said?
Or, I mean, viable source.
Right. Yeah, I can give you that. The Department of Justice collects statistics on violent offenders, all offenders actually, and you can go look it up there. It's about it. It'll vary year to year.
Yeah, no, I'd like you to show
about
me.
90,
It's gonna be your
98%.
proposition of proof. I'm
Yeah,
not
so
gonna
look
prove
it up. I hear your computer clicking in the background. You can look
Yeah,
it
no,
up.
but
The
that's not gonna
Department
be
of
for you. Again,
Justice.
if you're gonna say there's gonna be
So
this
you
X
can look
proof,
up Department of Justice year 2024, and if you look that up, right? If you look up crime stats, Department of Justice 2024, it will pull up the crime stats, and you can go through the list and you can find rape, and it will tell you the demographics of people, right? It'll tell you women and men, and you can go and look at the percentage and see what percentage each gender commits, right? Is that really that hard? Like, shit. Like,
well, no, that's like me saying, okay, 55% of women are rapists, and this site says so, but you have to go look it up.
okay,
right
so
now.
then what do you, I hear your
damn
damn computer clicking in the fucking background. What do you, like, go find it.
Why do I have to?
I'm providing you the source right now. You can go find it. We will sit here in silence while you find it.
That's burden shifting, though.
Department of Justice.
You're asking me to. You're asking
Okay,
me
so
to
then when
scour
I
for
pull it
something
up,
you should have.
so then when I pull it up because your bitch ass doesn't want to, because you know I'm fucking right. Whenever I pull that up, what's your excuse gonna be at that point? Oh,
nothing.
what's your excuse gonna be at that point?
I will agree to your proposition of proof, because all I'm asking.
What's
for you
gonna
is
be
to
your
show it.
fucking? What's gonna be your next deflection after I pull this up and prove you wrong? Like,
Can
I'm
you
going
define
to
what a
do?
deflection is?
Oh, I love being right. I fucking love being right. Yeah,
Can
this
you
is a
define what a
deflection because
deflection is?
instead of engaging with me in the topic, and I gave you the source, right? You asked for the source. First of all, you deflected to.
I didn't
well,
ask
what
for the
about
source.
Women?
I asked for the.
You
okay.
deflected to. Well, what about women, right? Because
I did not.
Men
That
always
was
have to do
a
that
completely
shit. So
separate
you did that,
conversation prior.
and now, whenever we're talking about statistics, you're like, well, you have to prove it to me. Yeah, I'll prove it to you. Let's.
So can I
fucking do
call?
this.
I'm just gonna call out two fallacies. One,
Aw.
I complete red hearing, and two, it's gonna be an Adominium.
A red hearing, girl.
I mean, obviously, you purposely misinterpreted everything I said, because all of that was like, it was claimed prior to our conversation to go towards the burden of proof, where I asked, okay, well, you said this said thing. My clicking wasn't atoned for you. I was looking something else up, but I did look
so maybe
up what
you
you
should
asked.
be present in the debate, and you should.
I am present in the debate. You're the one who's not
you?
presenting the proof. You said you have. I'm
Well,
still waiting.
see, I'm trying to, but my computer's being stupid. So if you could pull that up, please and thank you.
Oh, okay. So the proof's just not going to be viable because you can't present it. Cool. So we're just gonna move past that point, okay?
No, we're actually not, because
If you said there's proof of something, but you can't prove,
Okay,
if you
then I'll
can't,
go get it. I'll go get it. Okay,
please, that's
because
all
you're
I
a little
want.
fucking bitch and you can't look up statistics because you're
Another
a fucking
ad
Phil bro,
hominem,
and you
bro.
have nothing to provide to this debate except for your stupid ass Phil bro.
Another.
I'll go get it. Okay,
Please, that's
because
all
you're
I
a little
want.
fucking bitch and you can't look up statistics. You have nothing to provide to this debate except for your stupid ass Phil bro.
Another ad
So
hominem.
let's go ahead.
More ad hominems, bro. Okay. Just insulting me instead of bringing the proof. That's all I'm asking.
Girl, you're
That's all I'm asking for.
Ad
I'm just
hominians,
asking
is that
for
what you
proof.
just fucking said?
I'm
Right.
just hominiums, bro. Okay. Just that's all I'm
Hominians,
asking.
girl,
Asking
is that
for
what you
proof.
just fucking said?
I'm just asking for proof, and you're insulting me left and right.
Is that what you just fucking said?
I don't know why anybody in the chat is agreeing. I was completely correct. She purposely misinterpreted what I said to put it in her favor, but everybody is just on her side. This is hilarious. Are you like 12 and learn how to speak on Reddit? Look at this. This is hilarious, dude. I haven't said one insult. I haven't called her one name, and I've been called repeatedly multiple names. Hilarious, dude. I haven't named, and I've been called repeatedly multiple names. But apparently I'm the one calling out the wrong fallacies here. I don't know. It's not like insulting someone is a fallacy in itself, right? Oh my god. Nosferatu, you want to understand why I don't have to look up something?
My
as proof?
percentage was off by just a little bit, just a tiny little bit, right? But I still think it's really fucking telling of the male species, right? So here we go. 93.5% of all individuals sentenced for sexual abuse were men.
This proves my point. Can we go back to my point real quick? Okay, so a sudden generalization of women being protected by a system of law. Now, you see how that word says sentenced, not accused? Oh, what does sentenced mean? Oh, they're given a jail time, meaning they are properly put into a court and it is shown they did this said thing. Now, the judicial system could easily be covering for women, and that was my point. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying it could be a thing, and you're giving a generalization based off of a statistic,
It's not.
But you just gave a statistic which completely derives from your point. Your original point was 98% of rapists are men because only this certain marginal amount of people were okay. Would you say the same thing for black people in crime?
It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious. I mean, it's honestly just like common fucking knowledge that men are more predatory than women. And
I'm not
so
denying
I don't know.
it, but
And so I
just
provided that statistic. I just provided the statistic that the people who are going to jail for these crimes are men, majoritively, overwhelmingly men.
Have I disagreed?
Here you are having another fucking problem with my statistic. Isn't that so funny?
I'm not having a problem. I, again, never presented a problem. I agree to it, again. But the way you explained it is completely wrong. What you said, okay, well, 98% of rapists are men. That is a sentencing statistic. That is not going to be a quote,
they are,
I would say.
It's the truth.
Do you understand the difference between accusations and sentencing?
Yeah, I would say it's even higher considering that most rapists don't go to jail. Only about 2% of rapists go to jail. So I would say it's actually higher, a higher percentage of men who are
2%
rapists.
2% of rapists go to jail? Yeah, where's that statistic coming from now?
Yeah, again, the Department of Justice.
Again, can I see that one? Because you're saying a lot of things.
Yeah, you can go to rain.org. You can go to rainn.org and you can look it up there. Okay. You can go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and kick you since you don't have the basic fucking understanding to have this conversation. You need to come into these conversations. Sorry, one second. I'm about to get off because I only have 14% left on my phone. You need to have basic common knowledge on these statistics to have this conversation, because to have this conversation, you need to know a couple of the facts beforehand. You need to know what percentage of women are affected by sexual violence. You need to know the percentage of each gender that perpetuates this violence. You need to know the basic fucking bare minimum that men are majoritively, overwhelmingly committing not only sexual violence, but also domestic violence and any violent crime in America. So the fact that you don't even have that basic fucking stat in your head shows me that you do not have the I'm trying to think of a word. Shows me that you do not have the cognitive capabilities to have this conversation. So go do some research and then come back whenever you've done your research on the basic fucking stats that you have to know to have this conversation. So, anyways, I am going to get off because my phone only has 14% left on it. But, yeah, like, the men are really triggered. I can see it in the comments. Oh, you guys are so triggered. Oh. Yeah, be better. Stop raping women. And, be better men. The world needs better men. Okay? Perfect. Yeah, be better. Stop raping women. Be better men. The world needs better men. Perfect.